Hey everybody, this is gonna be a quick video. I'm gonna try to make it quick. I'll try not to be too long-winded. Going over my Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. I'm not really gonna be doing a review on this rifle because there's really no point in it. There's lots of other good reviews out there that are as good or better than anything I could do. If you're looking at this video, to sum it up, long story short, this is a great rifle, worth every penny. Really what this video is about more is just me going over my particular M&P 1522. These things, they can be customized a little bit, and now there's some companies making some different components so you can really customize them to set them up the way you want. And that's what this video is going to be about, just my setup and the way I have it set up and why and what it took to do it. So just stick with me, and I'm gonna just kind of go through it. I'll try to go one piece at a time, and hope I can give you some information that's a little bit helpful. Like I said, I'm not really going to go over any specs too much on this rifle. This is just going to be more of my particular rifle and the way I have it set up. First off, these rifles just come with your basic furniture, plastic grip. Just kind of a basic stock Smith & Wesson logo there. These are great stocks for what they are, but there's just better options out there if you ask me. And then the one thing that they come with is this 10-inch M-lock handguard, and it's actually it's a polymer handguard, so it's not an aluminum handguard. But all in all, it's not bad. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. It definitely doesn't have the feel of a normal AR-15. So, it's okay for what it is, but it's not what I wanted. And what I mean by normal AR-15 is my whole intention for this rifle was a trainer. My girlfriend, she has a M&P 1522. And there's hers right there. She has that one. Oh, if I don't fall off the table. And, it's a great little rifle, but, you can see it still has the M-lock handguard there. Hers is relatively stock, other than some pink pink furniture and stuff, and her optic. And they're good little rifles out of the box, don't get me wrong, but I wanted mine to be set up as a trainer, something where where I don't have the funds, or I don't have time to go somewhere where I can shoot 5.56. I can practice with this. I'm fortunate enough to be able to shoot at my house some, and I can pretty much shoot rimfire where I live as much as I want. So that was my whole intentions. But my problem with one just out of the box, throwing an optic on it, it's still a great rifle, but it just didn't feel like a regular full-size AR-15. The weight was way off. I mean, it's a nice lightweight rifle, but I wanted this thing to have the weight and the balance of a normal AR-15, a full-size 5.56 AR. So, in a nutshell, I set this one up to weigh about the same as my normal AR-15s, and to function about the same as far as the components that I put on this are either exactly or real close to the way that I would run a standard AR. I mean, all of mine are a little bit different. I might have different optics and things like that and different handguards, but in a nutshell, this one pretty much is a reflection of the way most of my AR-15s are set up, kind of the basic setup. So I wanted this one to be like that. So just like I said, as a trainer, something, other than recoil, this thing can pretty much completely mimic a 5.56 AR, which, we all know 5.56 really doesn't have that much recoil anyway. I like the M&Ps over some of the others, the Colts and some of the others on the market, because it is a fully functional AR. Everything about it, last round hold open, your bolt release on the other side, everything functions just like a normal AR-15. So the project, or the challenge, was to get the balance and the weight and to get all the accessories to make everything match one of my normal ARs. So getting this thing to be set up the way I want may not seem like that much of a project, and it really wasn't. But they have a polymer upper and lower receiver on all the 1522s, like I said, without going into too many details. But the obvious changes, I did my furniture and stuff. But the big deal was replacing this handguard, because it's not like a standard AR. I've got another handguard laying here. It's not like you can just take the handguard off, and put it on. It was a different process. I have all the tools to do that on a normal AR, but on this it was a different bird altogether. So what I had to get was this special barrel nut tool. It's very unusual. Got these flat slots up here, very nicely made, and I ordered that from tactical22.com, and that's what it took to remove this old plastic handguard. You can probably hear it or see the barrel nut sliding around in there. So what you did was you removed the barrel nut, removed the handguard, installed a new barrel nut in here, and then that barrel nut allowed you to attach any standard AR-15 handguard. So a real AR-15 handguard, not a polymer one. And that's all well and good, but then the next problem is, and they advertise this on their website, is that you're going to have a really big gap right here. When I say big, I mean it was more than 1/4 of an inch. It was a pretty big gap. So that was an issue. So you could, one, buy their handguard, which I didn't want to do, or two, you could slightly Dremel. You can't even see it here, but where these 3 screws are, where it mounts to the barrel nut in there, inside of there on the edge of the lower receiver, I had to Dremel that out just a little to get a nice tight fit. And there's still a tiny gap there, but it's not enough to bother me, and it's definitely not enough to even notice it as far as in the functionality of the gun. You know, you'll never know that gap's there. Most people don't even notice it unless I point it out like I am now. So, you know, that wasn't that big of a deal to get all that, but, you know, it was a little bit more of a process. So that's what I had to do to even be able to set this thing up like a full size, or like one of my full size ARs, was I had to buy this and buy the special barrel nut. And after that, it was pretty much just getting all of my accessories and getting all the different components on there that I wanted. So before I get into the weight, I'll go over all the different components and what I added to this gun, and we'll go from there. Alright, I'm going to try to start from the back and go front the best I can. Alright, first off, I've got a just a standard Magpul MOE stock, nothing special here. I had this left over from another build. Then I've got lay the gun down here, a Troy Industries QD mount, and that is actually made for a normal AR, and it does not fit this rifle without modification. I can't really actually, let me grab my girlfriend's rifle, because I modified hers for it as well. See right here in the bottom of the buffer tube how I had to cut that little notch out. On a standard AR buffer tube, you know, this is all milled out here. So it comes down through here solid, and then this last little bit is milled out. Well, that's made for a standard AR buffer tube, that QD mount there. So I had to modify it, which that was no big deal. Took a little set of files that I had here and just milled that out just enough for that screw to be able to go through there. So no big deal, but you know, it wasn't a bolt-on thing. But anyway, got stock, got the QD mount on there for my sling. I'm running a Magpul MS4. This is actually not a real MS4. This is a knockoff version that you won't be able to tell the difference. I buy these things all the time on eBay. They're 12 bucks, and they're just a complete clone of a Magpul MS4. So, well worth the money. I've got these things laying around everywhere. Then I added a BCM Mod Zero grip. The reason I wanted this grip is this is my, hands down, my favorite grip. This is what I run on all of my AR-15s, or the majority of them. Like I said, this whole setup wasn't really meant to, it was meant to basically just kind of mimic, in a nutshell, all of my ARs. Like, all of mine are slightly different. Like, some of them have a different stock, a different grip, lots of different triggers, different optics. But in a nutshell, this is kind of how most of my ARs are set up. Most of mine have a red dot of some kind, and, you know, so on goes the list. You know, kind of the same handguard setup, and etc., etc. So the BCM grip. The M&P 15s, at least this model, it came with the Magpul M-bus sights, but I actually took those off and used them for another build. And what I ended up putting on here was the UTG flip-up sights, which I know UTG and quality don't usually go together, but these sights are actually pretty good. I've ran them on a normal AR-15, and I mean, they hold zero fine. The reason I took the M-bus off, though, and put these on, were these are heavier. And like I said, the weight is going to be a factor as far as getting this thing to weigh correctly. So that's why I swapped out for the UTG over the M-bus. And then the next thing I did was the Magpul extended magazine release. I 90% of my ARs, I have some sort of extended mag release. I usually run the Odin Works, but I would have to say this. My second favorite is this Magpul here. Kind of like the minimalist design of it, but it's definitely better than just a standard, mil spec one. And I got this on sale, so I went ahead and went with that. Let me rotate it over here. Also, another thing I did was the extended charging handle. Now, if you any familiar with this rifle, you'll know they do not use a standard charging handle. So it's not a standard like a M4 charging handle out of a standard AR-15. It's its own little shorty charging handle. It's made of polymer, which the upper and lower receiver on this gun is, and it, for a 22, it's very durable. And also, this gun is unloaded, no mag. And there's nothing wrong with the charging handle. It's very traditional as far as the normal size of what's on here. And so I started looking for charging handles, and there's lots of companies. The company that I got the barrel nut wrench here from, Tactical 22, they make a really nice ambidextrous charging handle, but it was 60 bucks. Now granted, I've got a lot of money in this rifle, and a lot of people would think I'm crazy for having this much in a 22, but like I said, I have absolutely loved this thing. You may not buy into the whole training with a 22, but man, I definitely do. For ammo cost and everything, and the fact that I can shoot this thing every single day, where I can't always shoot my AR-15s. Yes, it doesn't mimic the recoil, but it mimics everything else. Anyway, rant over. But instead of spending 60 bucks, I got to digging around in my junk drawer, and I had a AR-15 charging handle latch. This is a standard aluminum AR charging handle latch. And so, let me lock this bolt up here. So what I did was, I took the factory charging handle, pushed the pin out here, and I put this AR-15 charging handle latch on there. Now, it did not work straight out the gate. It wouldn't catch. So when you would push it forward, it would just free float. It wouldn't lock down. What I had to do, let me get this to focus, that little hook, let's see, right there, that little hook, I had to file in there to make that hook a little bit smaller, the material. So like right there at the end of my finger, I had to, it did come all the way to here. I had to file it that way just a little. And as you can see, if it focuses, now it locks absolutely fine. So now it'll just go right up and locks right in. So that beat buying a $60 charging handle any day. Now, how is this going to hold up? I don't know. But I know I've ran close to 3,000 rounds through this rifle, and it's held up just fine. Not to mention, I have put this charging handle in my girlfriend's pink rifle, and she's ran probably 1,000 rounds, and it's held up fine. So, hey, if it breaks, then I'll do something different. This gun is a trainer. But this is $6 versus the one they sell that's made for this gun is 60 bucks. So I thought that was a nice plus. I've already got too much in this thing, but, it's what I wanted. It's turned out great, in my opinion, and so it was worth every penny. Alright, trying not to get off track here, continuing forward. The optic that I'm running is a Primary Arms 30mm advanced dot. It's Primary Arms kind of, I won't call it a knockoff aim point, but there's a real aim point. Kind of what it is, and it's actually a really great dot. I had this on a normal AR-15. It came off of that to go on this rifle, and this is exactly where it's going to stay. It's got like 33,000 hour battery life, I think, so a little over 3 years. 2 MOA dot. It's got the aim point style controls here on the back. It comes with front and rear flip up caps. I don't like to run a rear. I run just a front, either flip to the side or where it can flip down. And it's just a Primary Arms Absolute Co-Witness mount. Nothing special, but this thing, would be perfectly fine to drop onto a normal 5.56 AR-15 or anything. So I think on here it's great. Like I said, kind of mimics the kind of optics that I like to run. I do run a lot of micro dots. I didn't want to run a micro dot on here because, like I said, I needed to add weight where I could. And this optic's not heavy. It weighs like 11 ounces with the mount. But, every little bit helps trying to get the weight balanced out on this gun. Anyway, going forward, after I did the complete barrel nut swap, which required me to pull the barrel, special wrench, special barrel nut, well, then that allows me to put on any handguard that I want. Well, I didn't want, just a complete garbage handguard, but I also didn't want to drop, too much money into one. I did want one, that was nice and solid and sturdy. So I got this Matrix Arms 15-inch key mod handguard. think it's called their Foxtrot. It's just the one that's just, they've got some that's got different angles on the end. This is just a squared up. Like I said, just staying in line. I'm a key mod person. I have M-Lock stuff, but I prefer key mod. So just keeping it all the same. I generally run key mod handguards, and I generally run somewhere between, 12-ish to 15-inch handguards. So this is just right in that line with keeping it the same as all my other ARs for training. It's BCM. Vertical grip, absolutely my favorite vertical grip. I've ran AFGs. I've ran the Magpuls. I've ran pretty much every different vertical grip over the years I can get my hands on. Here's another one that's going on another build in the future I've got laying here. And this is my favorite. I generally hold thumb over bore, and I like these. I don't use it as a vertical grip. It's not meant to be used as a vertical grip. It's kind of hard to show you on camera. You know, it's meant to be used like that, and that's how I use it. That's how I prefer to hold. You know, your mileage may vary. You find what works for you, but that's what works for me. Going forward, we got the BCM key mod covers. I pretty much use these on everything. I always keep a pack of them on hand, and they work great. You know, just put in the real estate that I'm not using. A little bit more texture. You're not going to have any heat issues from a 22, but, you know, like I said, keeping it all the same. Standard bird cage on the front. That came with the rifle. I've done some research. They do make muzzle devices for this gun, or for 22s in general, that will help to increase the recoil. But I didn't see the point in that because I just couldn't see it really working that well. And I didn't want to put the extra money into it just to increase the recoil. I mean, it says it only increases it by like 10%. So, didn't really see that. So, I'm just going to rock the standard bird cage. Also, I want to go back here. One thing I meant to mention, the extractor here. I upgraded the extractor from the standard extractor to the Valcorson, if I'm saying that right, extractor. So that is one thing that I did. It was functioning, you know, fine. I just wanted the extra, I guess you would say extra reliability. And that extractor, hands down, I would suggest if you have one of these things and you don't do a single other modification to it, do that extractor. There's tons of videos on how to do it. It's super easy to install, and man, did it make a difference. I mean, this thing would eject the shells anywhere from 2 to 5 feet. I put that thing in there and it went 6 to 12 feet. The reliability was great before, but it's through the roof after doing that extractor. So I definitely recommend doing that. So I rolled the gun over here, and now I like to run a light, and I didn't want to put, you know, I like the, I've got the Enforce WML. I mean, this is a great white light right here. This is hands down my favorite weapon light for a carbine like this. And I've got it mounted in a BCM offset mount there. I don't know if you can see all that. But anyway, that's it. Hands down, this is the Gen 2. And if you're looking for a good quality weapon light, I highly, highly recommend these. But I didn't want to put the money into one of these for this. Like I said, I didn't want junk on here. It needs to work. But, you know, if it fails, it's not going to be a life or death thing. So I still wanted something that will work, but, you know, not complete, you know, garbage. So I came across this. This is a UTG little compact weapon light is what they call it. It's 400 lumens. It's shockingly bright. This is 400. This WML is 400. It is not as bright as the WML, but it is really, really bright for what it is. It's got a momentary on this way and a constant on this way. It's very easy for me to hold the rifle like this, and I can just reach up and rake it to cut it on, or bump it that way for just momentary on. So, for all intents and purposes, it works great. I've just got a little piece of Picatinny in there, mounted on to the key mod, and then the light mounted directly to that. So, for what this is, you know, that's perfect. And another reason that I wanted this was, once again, I needed the weight, trying to get the weight factor in there. But also, because I'm lucky enough, I have a place that I can shoot at night, pretty much whenever I want to at my house. So, that's another thing, so I can do a little bit of night training from time to time. So that's pretty much a rundown of the whole rifle. You know, I got 4 mags here I'm running. I'll probably pick up a few more in the future. But for right now, I've just been running these. Like I said, reliability has been through the roof. Out of the box, it did good. After I put that aftermarket of our Corson extractor, man, it was great. This thing rarely malfunctions. I mean, I'd say, a couple, probably a few every 1,000, and that is, to me, insane for a rimfire. So, anyway, and I kind of, I mean, I don't say I don't want it to malfunction, but it's good that it does sometimes because, you know, for a trainer, which is what this is, I get to run and practice different malfunction drills and, you know, a little bit more real life scenarios. So, you know, that's a good thing. Now, as far as the weight, out of the box, it weighed 5 pounds, 3 ounces. I threw the optics on there, the stock, the grip, a few other little things, and the weight still wasn't there. I wanted this rifle to weigh 7 pounds. My full-size carbines with basically the same accessories, WML light, you know, running a sling, they weigh about 7 pounds or just under. Long story short, the way I accomplished the weight was the buffer tubes, the fake buffer tubes on these 1522s are just hollow plastic on the inside. And if you take the stock off in the back, there's a plastic cap in there from the factory. I took that cap out and I filled this entire tube, well, about 3/4 of this tube, full of number 7 lead birdshot. And then I rolled up some paper and stuck in the end and then put the cap in and glued it. And that did it. This rifle weighs exactly 7 pounds the way you see it right now with an unloaded mag stuck in the gun. Unloaded, everything's unloaded here. That right there, it weighs 7 pounds. And like I said, it balances perfectly. That little bit of weight back here, you know, kind of works out. Makes it feel more like a traditional carbine, having that weight kind of centralized back here. So it could not have worked out any better. The weight is on point. This thing handles and maneuvers and swings just like a full-size 5.56 carbine, which is exactly what I wanted for training purposes. It really worked out good. One more thing I failed to mention is the trigger. I had every intention of changing this trigger out for something comparable to what I would normally run on my my rifles. I was expecting it to be like the trigger on this one. I got this one a couple years ago, and this one is, I mean, it's a fine trigger, but it's you know, basically just a mil-spec trigger. You know, it's probably a 6-pound pull, kind of creepy, kind of long, you know, same old, same old. But this one, shockingly, it's on my gauge. I've got the little Wheeler trigger pull gauge. It comes up to a even 4.5 pounds. Nice single stage, smooth pull. I mean, heck, I wouldn't mind having this trigger in some of my other ARs. So I'm going to just leave that. I'm pretty happy with that trigger. So that was something I just wanted to mention. That you know, the trigger in this thing on this particular model, your mileage may vary, but it was good right out of the box, and I saw no point to change it. Well, that's about it. I hope I covered it. You know, I just wanted to go over this rifle. This rifle's nothing new. Like I said, it's been out a while, but I just wanted to kind of touch on my customization of this rifle. I wouldn't really call it a build, more of just a customization. And, you know, if for anybody out there that's looking to build themselves a trainer, or if you're trying to get someone more familiar with the AR platform, the balance, the weight, the muscle memory, the skills of operating it, I think it's a great platform. It's definitely allowed me to shoot a lot more on the AR platform. I've been shooting them for years, but it's still, you know, you can never have too much practice. I've shot this thing every day since I've got it, for the last pretty good while. Since, I mean, I've had it probably a few months, and I've shot this thing every day since I've had it. I've probably put around, I'm getting close to 3,000 rounds through this gun, and I absolutely love it. So it's definitely fun. It's a great trainer, which is what I mainly wanted it for. It's fun when me and my girlfriend just want to plink. We don't want to spend a lot of money. She's got one, so it's nice that we can interchange the mags. Like I said, hers is, you know, it's more of its original condition. It's super lightweight, but, you know, she wanted it for a plinker, and that's exactly what it's doing for her. So it's perfect for that. Me, I wanted it a little bit more for a serious-minded trainer and for just practice purposes. So that's about it. I appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe if you like what you heard here. Sorry I'm long-winded. I just can't help that. I like going in details on everything, but anyway, I'm going to roll in some shooting footage at the end. It's just me doing some mag changes and kind of some drills, just plinking. Like I said, the charm for this thing for me is I'm lucky enough to have a place that I can shoot this gun every single day at my house. So it doesn't get much better than that. But like I said, I hope you enjoy the video. Anybody who's looking to set something up like this, not necessarily just buy one out of the box. If you're looking just to buy one out of the box, do it. You will not regret it. They're great rifles. If you're looking to set something up a little bit more like this, to make it more like a normal full-size, full-caliber AR, I hope I helped you out. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them as far as you know, doing the different upgrades and modifications that's required to make one like this. So thanks again. Like and subscribe, and just some boring footage of me shooting at the end. So give me a thumbs up. Thanks again.